Topic 3.5 and 3.8 test review. Number 1, what is the zero of a function? Very important. Zero is a new vocabulary word. It doesn't mean the number 0. It means the x-intercept of the line. So what is the zero of this function? What is the x-intercept? Follow your line. Stop when you land on the x-axis. There it is. What is the x value of that? You go from here, you go 1 to the right. That is the 0. So you could answer this by saying the x-intercept is 1. You could say x equals 1. You could also give the ordered pair 1, 0. You need to know all three of these, and you need to understand if you see any of these that you know it's called the 0, also known as the x-intercept. Number 2, when is it best to use the standard form of a linear equation? Remember, standard form is ax plus by equals 0. Don't have to memorize that, it's right here. Standard form. Okay, slope-intercept form is good when you need to graph. You have the slope and y-intercept, easy to graph. Point-slope form is good when you have one point on the line and the slope. Standard form has none of that. But what standard form is good for is when you need the x-intercept and y-intercept. If you need to graph the intercepts, you can do that very easily in standard form using the cover-up method, which we'll get to later in this review. So when is it good for? When is it best to use it? When you need to graph those. All right. Number 3, you have only nickels and dimes in your piggy bank. When you run the coins through a change counter, it indicates that you have 595 cents. Write an equation that represents this situation. Okay, we had this on one of our homework assignments. We'll go through it again quickly. What are 3 combinations of nickels and dimes you could have? Well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's do this. This is a standard form equation. And let me tell you how you can start recognizing standard form. When you have a situation where you're not seeing a slope, an over and over number, you're not seeing a one-time number, something that you start with. When you have 2 different situations, this is situation 1, this is situation 2, or 2 different items, item 1 and item 2. When you have that, and you also have a total of something, then you're dealing with standard form. Now I have 2 items in this problem. I have nickels and dimes. Item 1, item 2. I also have a total of cents. Okay? So I'm going to set up X to be item 1, the nickels, and I'll set up Y to be item 2, the dimes. So I'm going to have something like this, and my 595 cents will be my C value. Okay? So I'm going to have something X plus something Y equals 595. Now, what number makes sense to go with my nickels? Well, how many cents are in a nickel? 5 cents in a nickel. So 5 cents in a nickel times all my nickels plus how many cents are in a dime? 10 cents in a dime. 10 cents times all my dimes equals 595 cents. Now I will go ahead and mention there's 2 totally different ways to set this up. If I'm counting the number of pennies I have, and I'm doing it this way without the decimal, then I would set it up this way. Okay, 5 pennies in a nickel, 10 pennies in a dime equals 595 pennies. However, what if I'm talking about the dollar value? $5.95. That would be a different equation slightly. That would be a nickel being worth 5 cents, a dime being worth 10 cents. You will get the same answers when plugging in values either way. Okay? What are 3 combinations of nickels and dimes you could have? Well, you have to kind of deal with some real life limitations when you deal with this. I'll give you an example. Let's start with our intercepts. I could have no dimes at all, and I could have all this money all in nickels. Okay, let's try it out. If I have no dimes, 0 for Y, what would be my value for nickels? I use the cover-up method. I have no dimes, so it's 10 cents times nothing, so it goes away. So I have 5 cents equals that. 5 cents times x equals that. Or if we want to do the top equation, 5x equals that. So to get the x by itself, I'm dividing that number by 5. So I put in 595, divide it by 5, and I'm going to have how many nickels I would need to have that many pennies. 595 divided by 5, I would need 119 nickels to get that many pennies. So when I have 0 dimes, I would need 119 nickels. Let's just check it. Let's put 119 times 5 cents to make sure. That gives me $5.95. So it does work. Now here's where the limitation part comes in. Let's do the other intercept. Let's say I don't have any nickels. All I have are dimes. Okay, let's do 595 divided by 10. What in the world is that? Let's go ahead and hit Control Enter to get my decimal. It's 59.5. That is 59.5 dimes, which we can't do in reality, right? So this is not a point that's a reasonable combination because you can't cut a dime in half in reality. So on the graph, can you graph it? Sure, you can graph it mathematically, but in reality you can't have half a dime. So that would not work. So I'll tell you what, we need 2 more points to meet this requirement. Why don't we just give ourselves 1 nickel to meet that 5 cents right there? So instead of having no nickels, what if I have 1 nickel? Okay, what would I have? That would be 5 cents, okay, plus how many dimes would give me that? Well, that 5 cents takes care of the 5 right here. So I basically have $5.90 left. Divide that by 10, 59 dimes. Okay, it's basically the 0.5 there. The half a dime is the nickel. Okay, and now that we're on that train of thought, why don't we just give ourselves 2 nickels to give us another option? What would that be for dimes? If I have 2 nickels, actually it wouldn't be 2 nickels, it would have to be 3 nickels. If I have 3 nickels, it takes care of 1 of the dimes plus the 5 cents, right? Let's do it this way. Let's say I have 595 pennies, but I take away 15 of those pennies because I have 3 nickels. So I'm taking away 15 pennies. I now have 580 pennies, which could be met by having how many dimes? 58 dimes. There you go. That's one option. You could do a lot of other ones. What is the 0 of the function and what does it mean in this situation? Well, the good news is we already found it. The 0 is where your x-intercept is. That's 119 over to the right and 0 up or down. That is on the x-axis. What does this mean? It means I have 119 nickels and no dimes. It's 119, 0. All right, let's do number 4. Which equation represents a vertical line? Okay, Is it x equals y or x equals 3? I need you to understand, a vertical line is always an x equals a number, okay? It's not going to be that number either, okay? Because x equals y is basically the same as y equals x. You could graph both of these in the calculator if you're not sure. Let's go ahead and do it. You go to graph. Now, x equals y is the same thing as y equals x. So here's y equals x. That is not a vertical line. Okay? Let's try x equals y. Let's go down to relation, type in x equals y, what they gave me. It's the same line as y equals x. Okay? So now let's hit tab again, and let's type in x equals 3. That's your vertical line. So remember, when you have a vertical line, there is no y in the equation. It's just x equals a number. And in this case, it's that one. Which equation represents a horizontal line? This is the opposite, okay? That is y equals a number. There is no x in this equation at all. So we can get rid of that one. Let's try y equals 5. Y equals 5 gives me that horizontal line, okay? Please study this. Please remember that for the test. All right, we will do this page on the next video.